what's up? Today I'm trying to avoid doing a lot of the rust stuff on the chassis, mainly because it's long and laborious. So I thought today, get back to work on the hardware. So I've got everything I need to put the bottom end back together. I've got ACL main bearings, ACL conrod bearings, and I've also got a Nissan N1 oil pump with gaskets and everything. Got some lube because never want to go in dry. Yeah, the crank's ready to go back in, and everything else should be ready to go. I just want to get it back together on the bottom end so that I can then start looking at tidying up everything else before this goes back in the car. Because it makes no sense to just put a dirty, scummy engine back into a tidy engine bay. I want to be able to see when there's an actual leak or something like that. So I've got an itchy nose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom end back together. Then I'm going to take what I need to off the outside of the engine bay, off the outside of the block, so that I can then clean it up, give it a coat of paint, so that way any leaks happen, I can see more or less where they're coming from. So yeah, let's get to work. So before I start work, I'm just doing a bit of digging into what I've got and what's currently on the crank. So one of the things I bought was this N1 style oil pump from JDM Garage, which came with a crank collar from Superformer. Doing a bit of research, and it looks like in order to be able to fit that, I need to have this one machined off and then that one put on in its place. So I might have to take this back to the machine shop to get them to do that, because it's not something I'm comfortable doing, which might put this back a bit longer. So as you saw in that last clip, the crank needs to go off to be machined again, basically so that the new collar could be fitted. I've taken that down to the machine shop now. They're going to deal with that and then let me know in a few days when it's ready to be picked up. In the meantime, I'm just getting all the gasket stuff off from the old oil pump, so I'll show you what I'm doing there now. So if you're wondering what I'm trying to do here, past me has somehow, I don't know if you can see that, there. Past me has somehow managed to get that hose clamp on, literally touching the manifold. So I can't get anything in now. Don't know how I've done it in the past, but it's there and it's literally sitting millimetres from the manifold. So I'm trying everything I can to get it off now. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Problem solving 101. Identify who caused the problem first. Past me. Then spend ages trying to rectify the problem, or leave it and then causing the problem for futurely. Sometimes works. Basically, you need to try and twist the pipe to get it to break the seal. Don't seem to want to work in this case though. There we go, that's got it. Look, you can see the movement now. So let's try it. There we go. Oh shit. Good job, we've got a pan underneath. It's looking a lot better than it was earlier. There's still a few bits I need to get off, but essentially that face needs to be as clean and smooth as possible so that when the new gasket goes on, the new oil pump goes on, there are no leaks. There's a couple of small pieces like there, for instance, that I need to still work on, but the majority has come off now. So I'm just going to carry on with that, and then that's probably going to be it for today. So, I was editing this video, and as you probably saw in the last few clips, nothing quite went to plan. The original plan was to get the engine back together so that I could start cleaning up the exterior of it, get it all sealed up and everything. The crank is now back at the machine shop, getting the oil pump collar machined on. The correct one, the old one machined off and the correct one machined on. Use your words, Lee. And I managed to get the old oil pump gasket off the engine and get all that surface cleaned up. But I didn't feel like I'd really had a win in this video, and I want to try and have some kind of win in at least most of my videos. So today what I'm going to do is putting the Laurel work aside for a minute until the crank comes back and everything. I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do on the truck for a while now, and that is to fit a dash cam. The reason I want to fit a dash cam is because there have been one too many near misses for my liking, driving around, especially on the motorway, things like that. And it's not something I'm doing wrong, unfortunately, because I'm driving a truck and I can see into people's cars as I'm going past them. 9 times out of 10 it's because people aren't paying attention on the road. They're looking at their phones, they're looking at anything but what they're supposed to be doing on the road, which means they're veering into lanes that they shouldn't be. They're swerving all over the place. They're not driving. They're not managing to maintain lane discipline, things like that. Generally not indicating when they're pulling out, or moving at a junction, things like that. And it's getting quite stressful, and I know that there's going to come where I have to prove to my insurance that I wasn't the one at fault, and without something like this, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that, especially if they pull out in front of me and I don't have the space to stop in time to, you know, brake without going into the back of them. So I've been to the local automotive shop, the one that we won't mention on the video because they're not getting paid for this, so I'm not advertising them. And I've got myself a Nextbase dash cam. I've also got the memory card to go with it. This is a bit of a con for me because when you buy the dash cam, they tell you that you have to use the Nextbase SD card with it, but unless they've done some kind of weird encryption on this, any SD card should really work, and I will be trying that out in a future video, I think. So I've got the camera, the SD card, and I've also got the hardwire kit, which should make it extremely simple to fit this, because essentially what it does is it piggybacks off the fuse box. The hardest thing about this installation is going to be actually removing the trim and things like that to put to route the wiring in such a way that it doesn't dangle in front of the windscreen, because obviously one of the reasons I'm doing it this way is because I don't like having wires dangling down unnecessarily. I don't like having things plugged into the cigarette lighter unnecessarily. I think if you're going to install something like this, you should do it once, do it properly, because it's so much easier, so much cleaner, and it's just a distraction having those wires hanging down and things like that. So yeah, we're going to get on with this now. We'll go out to the driveway and get started. So we'll make a start. The fuse box I'm going to try and use is this one that's in here, because as you can see it's pretty easy to get into and access. The only thing I've got to do is take off the trim around here, or at least open up the trim wide, well, pull the trim away far enough so that I can get a wire behind it, run it up, and then the camera will get mounted there behind the rear view mirror, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. First thing that come off is this handle. Just got to find something to play with. I think that's going to work. I think it might be too thick. Oh no, it does. There we go. Sweet. Cool. So we've got two 10mm there. Should be able to run the wire through there, run it up there, and it behind the head the roof lining. Don't know why I couldn't think of the word then. Run it behind the roof lining, and then have it come out here ready to basically have the camera fitted. What's that? So the good thing about this Nextbase hardwire kit is that it actually comes with various types of fuses that you're going to need. It comes with all the different connections for those fuses, so you can piggyback off them. So basically what you do is you put the plug in where the fuse will go, then you put the fuse on top of it. Meaning that you don't have to go splicing wires behind the dash and things like that. It's quite a clean, simple solution actually. So we have the wiring here. I believe this is the end for the camera.
start running that through there. Bit of a faff, but helps if you've got skinny fingers for this. I don't, I've got sausage fingers. That's helpful. That's supposed to go that way. Thank you. There we go. So I've got the wire through. Let's see how far we get. Just running this piece. I think we've got more than enough there actually. Okay, looking at it. So we'll tuck that behind there. Right behind, right behind, right behind. And what we can probably do is push this back in and fit it again. Assuming that you don't get the wire caught in where the clips go. Might need to undo this. Yeah, I think I do. I think this is going to be what's holding the roof lining in place more than anything. So let's see if I can get this out. There we go. That's got it. I didn't really think about this at the time, but yeah, this is going to be holding the roof lining in place, isn't it? So it makes sense that I unscrew this, take that clip off, and then hopefully we should be mostly done. As long as I've got the space. As long as we have enough space to actually tuck the wire in, we should be able to run it properly and get that all sorted out without having to take too much else off. Come on then, you bum out. There we go. Yeah, so that clips in on that end. Pop that in the back for now. Show some more movement here. Not sure how that. Before I put everything back together, I should probably mount the camera, connect it up and test that it's working, and then we can tidy everything up again. So let's crack on with this. So what I was saying before about the SD cards, it actually says on the box there that you need to use the next base SD card. Now I don't know what reason that's for. It might be perfectly valid. They might actually have their own formatting system, in which case makes sense. But from my experience with technology in general and SD cards and things like that, one SD card is pretty much the same as another. You can put it into a computer, format it any which way you want, and use it as normal. So we'll see what I'll try that in a separate video. But for now, let's crack on with this. Where have I put my keys? Okay. So you get a sticker so you can tell everybody that you've got a next base dash cam. I'm sorry, it's not a house. I'm not going to start putting stickers on it telling people that, you know, I've got this and that. That camera's actually really small and really nice. So that's probably going to mount somewhere about there. Take these off. Starting to get a bit crowded in here, isn't it? Right. So we've got the mount for the camera. I see. Right. So you take that little cardboard cover off, which looks surprisingly like it's actually made out of plastic, and then there's a section there where that literally magnetizes to it. That's actually really clever. I like that. So then if we can mount that there, behind the mirror, and figure out the position of it roughly. Should probably put his SD card in now so it's out of the way. By the way, fitting an SD card, if you've got fingernails, it helps. I don't because I bite mine, so just is what it is, I guess. Right, that needs to go in there. And then we can push a bit more of that wire up there. Right, so I'm thinking probably there is good enough. I should probably, but before I mount it, I should probably get some power to it so that I can test it, make sure that where I'm positioning it is the best place for it. Otherwise, it could end up a lot like a lot of my footage when I'm filming these videos, where it's looking in the wrong direction or something's cut off. Let's try and get rid of some rubbish first. Just to give myself a bit more space. I'm going to need those in a minute as well, my keys. Right, so we have all this wire in here with these two on it, which uses one of these piggyback looms. Got to find somewhere to get an earth from as well, which is going to be interesting. Didn't notice that before. So it looks like it's probably going to be this one that I'm using, which is fine. So that plugs into there like that. Just literally a bullet connector. Then I've got to find which fuse I'm going to take out, and then it'll go back in there. So I think we'll use the power socket. Oh no, It's not in the best spot, unfortunately. There we go. So there is a, before I do that, let's put the tenant back in for the aircon. Let's go with the washers, so it's the 20 out there. Basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to find a way of putting this in that's not going to interfere with anything else, and it's going to give a secure connection. So again, that fuse doesn't fit, but if I plug that in there, that should fit. And then I don't want to unravel it all, but there's no sense making a mess for myself unnecessarily. There's a screw just here that I'm wondering if I can get to. Where's my screwdriver gone? There we go. Let's try again, shall we? Yep, we're getting power. Presto, we're on. So now if I can now mount that to the dash, to the windscreen, sorry. That's all good, it's all working. Sweet. Now to tidy up. There we go. That's the trim of it all. I can't speak now. That's the trim all fitted up again. Camera's in place. That's all in place. I do need to see if I can get the steering controls to work for the stereo again, but I'm not going to do that in the video. I need to go to Halfords now, get a replacement fuse, and then we're all done. Sweet. So we've had our win for the video now. Brilliant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.